In this video, we're going to show you how to install the ignition coil on your Subaru Legacy, located on the top portion of the engine. Now with the hood open, we're going to go ahead and locate our air intake tube. It's going to be two plastic push pins right here. We're going to use our trim tool. We're going to go ahead and remove these. Sometimes these break. Because of the age of the car, they're brittle, they can snap. You want to go ahead and take this unit, you're going to pull it towards you, you're going to disconnect it from the air filter box. When you slide this out, this back section right here is going to pull out of the air filter box. Right here is the mass airflow sensor. We're going to press down on this tab right here, disconnect that harness. Now if we look at this air filter box and we follow the seam right down around here, follow it right down to the inside, and there's going to be a 10mm bolt. We're going to use our ratchet extension and our ratchet here to go ahead. Using our ratchet extension and 10mm socket, loosen and remove this bolt. Go ahead, pull that up and out. Hold on to that, we're going to be reusing that later. Undo this here. And separate this. Using a flathead screwdriver up here, we're going to go ahead and loosen this hose clamp. Pull this off, and we're going to work this off. Might be a couple hoses attached on the side there. Pull that off, set that aside. Now right here on the back of the intake is going to be your ignition coil. There's going to be 4 ignition wires going to it. Now there's 3 10mm bolts holding this. Go ahead and zip this bolt out. And then we have one more right in this back upper side here. We're just going to go ahead and remove this here. Now what we're going to do, before we go crazy here, go ahead and grab your new ignition coil. Position it accordingly. Here's the 3 bolts. They are capture bolts, so they're not going to fall out. There is a connector right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these wires, and I'm simply going to swap them over to the location where they're supposed to be. Go ahead and pull that out, and then we'll pop out that lower wire. Be sure to grab it by the boot. Pop that off. Now I'm just kind of temporarily popping these in place here where these came off. And we're going to do this just so we can go ahead and get the other one removed, but we don't want to mess up the firing order for this ignition system. Now this here has the electrical connector on the back side. We just need to pinch down on a little tab on the back side here. Sometimes the assistance of a flathead screwdriver between the connector and the coil will help you in popping that off. Chances are it's been on there for a long time, so those connectors tend to stick after a little bit. Here it is. Now what we want to do is go ahead and get our coil installed. Now I want to be careful with these wires here. Some of them are going to pop off. You want to make sure that you get them back in the right position. Now we do need to go ahead and get that electrical connector installed on the side of our coil. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this wire off here and pull it to the front. Really doesn't matter how you do this. You just need to make sure that you get these in the right spot. Even if you mark the wire and mark where it goes onto using a crayon or something. Grab that electrical connector. And align that up and push that onto our coil. Now we're pulling off these wires here so we can run them underneath. That's the front one. That's the rear one here. And I want to go ahead and get these wires installed. And you do want to make sure those boots are pressed on all the way and that you actually feel that cable engage into the coil itself. They have to lock on. Now we can go ahead and line up the studs here. And what we're going to do is just get all three of these started. And then we can go ahead and snug them down. And if you can't get your gear wrench on there, and you might not be able to because that wire is in the way, you can go ahead and use the open end and go ahead and snug that down. Now on this upper one here, I can go ahead and put my ratchet on there. I'm just going to pop that wire off. Get my ratchet on there. Get that bottom one as well. Once that bottom's out, just snug it just a little bit more. They don't have to be super, super tight, but you are securing the ignition coil there, so you want to make sure that is good. Pop our wires back in over here. And on this back one here, I was able to get my shallow 10mm wrench on there to help zip this down a little bit quicker. All right. And once that's snug, you want to go ahead and make sure that your wires are in all of the looms. Let's go ahead and install our air filter intake tube. It's going to be 2 tabs on the bottom. We want to go ahead and lower that down. Pull our masso flow sensor wire up. Finagle this down past the hoses. Let's go ahead and pop that intake tube in over here. And then we can go ahead and line this up. Push this down. A little clips popped off there, snapped it into place. Now at this point here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just feed our mass airflow sensor wire harness around and pop that into place. Snap that on. You want to make sure you hear that and feel it engage. Let's go up to the intake tube up top here. Let's get that secured. Snug that down, make sure that's on there good and tight. Now the last thing you need to do over here for this box section is install that bolt. Go ahead and set that bolt a few threads by hand. And once you get it started, go ahead and pop our ratchet onto there. Once we snug this down, that'll wrap up this section here, and then we'll go ahead and pop the air intake duct into the box and lock that into the upper cross member. Snug it down gently. Grab the intake duct. This portion right here needs to insert into the box. Line that up and then insert the plastic pins. Now, if you happen to have a check engine light on inside the vehicle due to the component failing, be sure to go ahead and use a scan tool to clear those codes or code, and you can go for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.